What's going on YouTube? What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I haven't had a chance to record any DIY videos, but today my QUICKJACK arrived. 3 or 4 pieces. I ordered this thing a couple of weeks ago. It's the 5000 TL model, 5,000 pounds. I have all the boxes here on the floor. We're gonna go through the whole, open up all the boxes, see what's inside. It's extremely heavy. I had help to get all the boxes into the garage, but we're gonna open it up. I never had a QUICKJACK. I never worked on a QUICKJACK before, but I saw so many good videos about it, and it makes life so much easier when you work on cars. So as far as lifting cars, especially the Corvette down here behind me, it's extremely difficult to lift up because it's so low to the ground. So I figured, just invest and get this QUICKJACK. I purchased it from Costco, on Costco's website. I will go through the whole process, show you guys what's in the box, how much I spent, what comes with this purchase from Costco. It was a great deal. Much better, much cheaper than any other websites, including QUICKJACK's website. So without further ado, let's take a look, open up these boxes, see what's inside. There are 3 or 4 or 5 boxes around here, so let's do this. All right, we're just gonna quickly go over the boxes and what's inside these boxes. These are basically the lifts or the jacks. One box is sitting right here, one box is sitting right there. I'm gonna open up, see what's inside. But I originally opened up the compressor. I opened up the box. This is the actual compressor. Pretty heavy. And I would say somewhere between 40 pounds, 35 to 40 pounds. You have the power plug here, 110 volt. And this one is the actual, this is the actual up and down controller. This is, I have to go through the whole thing. I'm not exactly sure how to put this together. I have to read the manuals and see what I need to do. I'm sure there is bleeding involved as far as putting oil in here and air bleeding, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Just in case if you need to see the model information. Again, this is the 5000 TL, it's 5,000 pound. And this is all, I don't have, heavier car than 5,000. All my cars are less than 5,000 pounds. And so I didn't want to go for like something much larger. They even come with much larger packages for trucks. I believe like 7,000 pounds. I don't have any, large pickup trucks. So, and all these connectors came in a separate box. We're gonna go through this whole process. I'm gonna put this back together. Bunch of connectors here. When I purchased this from Costco, actually the options were, I could get these, or actually these options. There are a few options when you purchase from Costco. These are the stands that you can actually, you put these on the wall, you install them on the wall, and you hang the long jacks on these stands. There is a handle of some sort. I don't know. It's a piece of metal. Gotta look to see what's going on. So here are the little hard plastic pieces that you put on the jack or under your car to lift up the car. To lift up the car, or on the jack to lift up the car. All these came with the package. There are 4 of these of this size. I don't know exactly the size, but there are 4 of these that came in the box, and there are a little bit longer, taller of these cubes. So 4 of these, 4 of this size, 4 of this size, all came in the box. And as far as the package that I purchased from Costco, they were all included. These extra ones were also included, including these brackets to hang your jacks. These are extra or different kinds, different types that goes under the car, under the frame of your vehicle. If other than Corvettes or other cars, like Japanese cars, American cars, other American types, sedans, you put these within the frame under your car. So I didn't pay anything extra for these. They were all part of the package. I was kind of surprised because usually if you go to other websites, none of these things come in the box. They were all included. And I paid like $1,350 from Costco, $1,350, and free shipping. They also included this, what is this, thread sealer. This is that came in the box. So we have the compressor, which I will turn on at some point to connect it. Let's see what's inside this big heavy box, which is a piece of wood. All right, manuals, of course, gotta read that stuff. Also, there are other manuals that came in the compressor box. One book that is pretty cool. I thought it was pretty interesting and helpful. Vehicle lifting points. You can actually, this is the old school way. You can actually read about this, find out how to lift up your vehicle. What are the lifting points? And it does come with pictures showing you exactly your lifting points on the car, the type of car you have. So I thought this was pretty cool. I'm going to go through this whole thing. If you have different models, some safety requirements, I will go through them. Setup and operational manual, so I have to go through this. So 5000 TL is the model that I have. They have obviously the extra large models. Make sure if you order these, go on their websites and measure, check the measuring points. You don't want to get something too large, too big, that it won't fit under your car. This was perfect for me. It fits under all my cars. And like I said, I don't have a large, heavy pickup truck or heavy SUV, so this was a perfect weight limit for me. So yeah, we're gonna go through this. Going back here. This is the jack itself. There's more stuff there. I think this is like the handle. You use this to grab the jack and kind of like move it to the side on the floor. Sorry about the camera movements. So I'm going to take this out, get it out of the box, and open up the second one as well. Put them side by side. Bring the compressor down, plug it in, connect all the cables, and go through the whole process. There are two cables, two sets of cables sitting down there. I'm gonna put everything on the floor, go through the manuals, and hopefully we can get this together and lift up the car. Do a couple of tests, check it out, see how it is. Well, I'm gonna put the camera down and get this thing out. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna start assembling this thing together. I'm gonna start following the manuals. I've been reading all the pages, and as I'm going through all the pages, I'm doing step by step according to the instructions what we should do, and how we should do it
the right way. Don't skip any steps. Again, I'm doing this on my own. Please follow the manual's directions. Be safe. This is, not a joke. You don't want to go under the car and have this, have the car fall on your head or your body. Follow the instructions. I'm gonna do the same. At this point, I just removed the hydraulic cylinder's cap or screw, and we're gonna install these short hoses. There are two short hoses that come with this QUICKJACK in the box, and two elbows, as they call them, two elbows. So we're going to install the elbows. Do not use any thread sealant. According to the manuals, do not use any. And we're going to see it right here. Page 20. Page 20, it says do not use thread sealant. So we're going to install the elbows. We have two. And once we install the elbow and do it correctly, there's only one way to fit. JIC connects to the hose, and the fatter end, which is ORB, connects to that pipe. Again, please, keep emphasizing about this. Read the manual. It's very important to do this step by step. Otherwise, you're gonna have complications, issues. So let's do this. Gonna put that elbow and put the hose in, and go through the next page or the next steps. All right, so I installed this one short elbow and the hose. Sorry. You want to place it in this angle because you want to run the hose under the QUICKJACK. Oops, sorry again. You want to place the hose under the QUICKJACK, so this is the position of the elbow. Could be up a little bit according to the manuals, but not too much, because it's going to run under. So next is you're going to do the same thing on the other side, and next is to put these things together. My video is all over the place. You got to put these connectors together. I'm going to show you guys, very straightforward. You turn this around like that, and then you take this and you really push it hard like that into here. There's a lock ball, as you can see, and to release it, you push this down. You push this down. If I push this down, it's going to release. See? There we go. Pretty simple. We're going to do the 4. And this is the elbow for the second QUICKJACK on the, to the left. And we're going to come back again, go through the manuals. Again, page 21 explains how to put these connectors together, and also talks about thread sealant, because that's where you actually have to use thread sealant for these connectors, where the longer hoses that we have here, which I haven't opened, going to connect to these. Again, when it comes to connecting hydraulic fluid hoses to the compressor, which we're gonna fill up hydraulic fluid in here at some point, that's where we use thread sealant. Otherwise, if it's not recommended or mentioned in the book, do not use it. Do not use too much. Just the line. If you have to use, just a line across, don't put too much. Again, read the manuals as you are building this for yourself. My videos are helpful, but again, people make mistakes, I'm trying not to. I'm going page by page, and because I don't want to disassemble and do other extra work, waste of time kind of bullshit. So it's easier to read the manuals and go step by step. Anyhow, that's the next step. I'm going to take care of the second quick jack and the angle, installing the hoses, and be right back. All right, next step is to pump up the air cylinder, which is this small piece right there according to the manuals. Again, I'm going step by step. You kind of have to put between 40 and 50 psi of air in here. This is just like how you pump your tire in the car or your bike or whatever. I have my compressor set to 45 psi right there. So we're just gonna put 45 psi in here. I already took the cap off. I also tested the nozzle here. I released all the air because I want to put fresh air back in there. And that's pretty much it. We're just gonna hook it up. Don't go over 50 psi. Again, according to the manuals, between 40 and 50. I set it for 45. You can do it, 42 or even 40 if you want, but do not go over 40 or 50 because this thing could explode. All right, let's pump this up. All right, I have it connected, so wow, that was fast. $58 doesn't make sense. Let's release it and take a look. We'll have a digital gauge. All right, let's see what we have here. 10. All right, that doesn't make sense. Again, let's plug it back in. And also, they recommend obviously to have this completely flat on the floor. Not to, obviously it's, we haven't lifted anything, so now it makes sense. We have 10 psi. I don't know why it goes to 50. Alright, let's check again. $24. A bit of a pain. Shows 18 here. Let me just reset this. $39. All right, we're almost there. I thought it was just a one-time shot, like you do with your tires, but I guess not. Okay, now it's on the 32 mark.
Still 32. $32.5. I'm gonna keep doing this till I reach 45 or over 40, and I'll come back and do the second one. All right, I finally managed to get 42.5 pressure in there. But what I did, again, it's a little bit tricky with my compressor. Maybe it's not too strong, but I had to put it on 54 or 55 and push enough air to get it to 42 or over 40. So I'm happy with that. 42.5. I'm gonna do the same thing, same process on the second QUICKJACK over there, and call it a day with the air compressor and move on to the next steps. All right, we're gonna install this handle very quickly and hopefully take care of the motor itself, put oil in the hydraulic tank, and put the fittings on. So we're gonna go back to the book and find out where exactly do we need to do all that stuff. Put the camera, install the handle, do the rest. Just so you know, the fitting holes, or the holes for the handle, I'm sorry, the holes for the handle are one right here, one right there. All right, moving forward to installing the hydraulic fittings on the power unit. I read this whole thing, and according to the instructions, this part, which I have 4, these connectors or these fittings are supposed to go on here. And according to the instructions, you install the bottom one first, then the top one. They're saying it's easier. Make sure you have the washer at the end. Do not put anything on the washer. According to the instructions right here, do not tape. Do not use any tape or anything. Make sure you have the O-ring at the end. That's the female character. There is the spec for how much you should tight these fittings. 11 to 12 pound foot per pound. And what else? As you see, power unit, remove the plastic shipping plugs from the 2 hydraulic ports on the front. We're gonna do that, and that's pretty much it. So putting the I'm not sure exactly why they mentioned to. As you can see, do not blah 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 before you can connect the power blah blah blah. You first need to install quick connect fittings blah blah blah. QUICKJACK recommends installing the bottom power unit quick connect fitting first, then the top one. It is difficult to access the bottom fitting if you install the top fitting first. I just don't see how is this difficult to access the top or the bottom if you install the top one. Doesn't make sense to me, but again, make sure you have the O-ring. The instruction the instructions are okay. It's not the best. Just kind of torque these two, and basically these are the other end that connects to your to these long hoses. You stick this to this part. You have A and B. I don't think it matters here which one goes to where, as long as you have, they're both the same, identical. So then it's talking about connecting the power unit to the power source. Then there are multiple power sources. Obviously, I don't have the 220 or 240. I have the 110. And this is for using a 110 or 220. Even tells you right here, hydraulic ports. You have two of them. Breather valve, which is on top of the reservoir cap. Right there, that's the breather valve that we're gonna tamper with this later. This is the reservoir and this is the reservoir cap. We don't need these two. So we're gonna tighten these two connectors and come back to check some for other stuff on, you know, as far as here. I think the next is obviously you gotta fill the tank with the fluid and plug it in, test it, make sure there are no leaks. You just go from there. I actually made a mistake. I just wanted to correct myself before I mentioned what's the point of having, as they mentioned in the instructions, why they put the put the bottom one first, then the top one, obviously, and I wasn't even thinking when it comes to tie these things down. Clearly, if you have the top one up as well, there's no way you can. I mean, you could. It gets difficult from the bottom. So just make sure you do this. Don't put the top one. Tie this one first, then do this. I just wanted to correct myself. I know I mentioned what's the point. But sometimes, you know, you don't think. I have never put something like this together, so I wasn't even thinking about tying these two down to 12 pounds. But now it makes complete sense. Very clear. All right, we're moving to the next step. Again, it's a little bit confusing as they go next to connect the power unit to a power source. Do not do this. Do not do this. Do not connect the unit, because as I was thinking, I was like, why the hell do I have to connect the unit if I haven't put any oil in it? So you got to fill up, put oil in this tank. As they explain, you know, the headline is connect the power unit to the power source, but then they're just talking about different voltages. 220, 110, 12 volts, all that stuff. So this section is just about if you need, you know, 220, higher licensed electrician, all that, you know, stuff. But then you come here, filling the hydraulic fluid reservoir on the power unit. So, and it talks about the hydraulic fluid reservoir must be filled. The hydraulic fluid reservoir must be filled with the hydraulic fluid or automatic transmission fluid before you begin operation of the QUICKJACK. When you receive it, fluid reservoir is empty. The power unit will not work correctly until it is filled with approved fluids. So clearly, then in this page, they're talking about, okay, well, fill it up, then plug it in. Over here, they're like, connect the power unit to the power source. It is confusing. Don't do that. So we're gonna get. I have purchased hydraulic fluid for this unit. So we're gonna just open up the cap, fill it up, then move to the next step. Do the bleeding, do the testing, you know, all that stuff. Power, then plug it in, power it, test it. I want to be right back to fill this baby up. All right, this is the hydraulic fluid that I have purchased for this unit. It's extremely important you put the right stuff in there. ISO VG 32, and again, according to the manuals, approved fluids. Here we go. Approved fluids are very general. Propose, I can't even read that. Proposed ISO 32, ISO 46, or ISO 68 hydraulic fluid. Approved automatic transmission fluids such as Dexron 3, 4, or 5, or all that stuff. So make sure you put the right fluid. And again, the funny part is, as I mentioned before, if you use the QUICKJACK without fluid in the reservoir, you could damage power unit. They technically should have put this section after connected power. This should have been the next after you put the reservoir. So that's just stupid. And people don't pay attention. They don't read the manuals. Technically, or they do follow the manuals in this case, and they plug it in. They damage the unit. Common sense would be to put oil in there before you turn it on, but we're gonna do that now. That's the oil I purchased from Amazon. Then we're gonna test it. Check the breather valve and test and power it on. Be right back. All right, I already filled up the tank, closed it. I have literally filled up the tank, and what's going to happen is, sorry, what's going to happen is, when you put the hoses, when you attach these hoses to the system, to the unit here, there will be some fluid will be going through these hoses, so the tank will reduce fluid. Double check the tank once you have the unit tested, plugged in, and you have your hoses plugged in to the jacks. Definitely this will decrease, it will go down. Definitely check so you can add more fluid into the system, into the tank. So don't just leave it alone. Don't plug in the hoses hoping that it will always stay full. That's not the case. Even though once you fill it up and you run and you use it, there could be leaks at some point. You always should check the tank, make sure the tank is full. Just like how you check the engine oil in your car. You don't want to run the car without an oil. Same process. You don't want to run this without oil. Otherwise, you're just going to kill the motor. I'm going to plug in. I'm going to get the jacks out, plug the hoses, turn the unit on at this point. According to the instructions here, basically, it's talking about, fill up the tank. The fluid level should be approximately 0.5 inch below the fill hole. This is exactly what I did. I literally filled it up. And check the breather valve. Your breather valve is right out on top right here. We're gonna go over this very soon. You just kind of open it and close it. I'm gonna go over the instructions very quick. Again, turn the unit on, see what's going on. You gotta test it before you plug everything in. But this is pretty much bleeding the hydraulic cylinder. That's next. Once you have the unit on, I will go through these steps just to make sure everything works as they have described in their instructions, I guess. Let's just hope for the best. All right, something interesting came up after I read check the breather valve. As you can see here, reservoir cap with breather valve. The breather valve comes from the factory Titan. You must loosen it before you start using the power unit. Again, it's just I don't know why they make it so confusing. That's step one, right? And then apparently you have two types. Reservoir cap with breather valve, which is this with the side view picture. Breather valve comes closed, loosen before use. Reservoir cap, remove to fill reservoir with fluid. Okay, I don't have this. I have that. I don't know what models would have the other one. As you can see, this is the one I have, and most likely if you purchase yours in US, I purchased mine in Costco or at Costco, so it just, this one explains, what are they talking about? Reservoir cap self-venting. Reservoir cap, remove to fill, of course, self-venting, do not loosen. So you don't have to do anything if you have this, which I do. You don't have to do anything, just fill it up, close it. You're good to go. If you have that kind, I guess you have to open it up for the vent. All right, everyone. It's the next day. We're putting the QUICKJACK to test. I lift up the Corvette. Just gonna do an oil change. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It's a, pay attention, be patient. Make sure your jack points are correct. Make sure you have the QUICKJACK in a right location. You want your locking arm outside the car, not inside the car. This is on level 1. You want to make sure when you go all the way up, you lock it and then bring it down. You pass that bridge in there. Right there, there's another one right here. You pass the bridge, then you bring it down to lock it. You see, this is now locked. When it's not locked, it's loose. You can actually lift this arm up. You don't want to rely on putting it on the hydraulic point. You want to make sure you lock it like the way it is. Jack points are, with every car is different. Different cars have different jack points. I also have purchased the extender blades. There are 2 pieces of metals that extends, because I have other cars like a sedan, which the jack points are much longer. So let me show you the extensions. They call them extensions. They're pricey. They're like around $350, $400, but I needed them because this setup, this original setup, is perfect for a sports car, 2-door car. But when it comes to 4 doors, you need the extension, depending on the car. Of course, my car needed it, so let me show you the extensions. Here we go. This is the extension that sits right on top of the QUICKJACK flat surface. Basically extends this location. If your jack points under your car, if you have a 4-door sedan, much larger car, basically it will fit. As you can see right there as well, the front and the back. Anyhow, well, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of the video for the QUICKJACK setup, installation, the entire process, and also lifting up the car, and which is the easy part. But also be very careful. Make sure your car is secure on the QUICKJACK before you go under it. So please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go record another video on how to replace all the fluids on the vet, on the C5. So more videos are coming. Great. Thank you so much. Peace.